June 1947. The Indian Ocean stretches endlessly in every direction. Calm waters, clear skies. Just another routine day for the merchant vessels crossing these waters. But something is wrong. Very wrong. A ship drifts alone on the waves. The SS Ourang Medan. No smoke rises from her funnels. No crew walks her decks. No captain stands at the helm. She's just there, silent, abandoned, moving wherever the current takes her. When rescuers finally climb aboard, they discover a scene so horrific, so utterly inexplicable, that it will haunt maritime history for the next 70 years. Every single person on that ship is dead, the entire crew. But that's not the terrifying part. The terrifying part is this. There's not a single injury on any of them. Not one. No bullet wounds. No stab marks. No broken bones. Nothing. And the ship? Completely intact. No damage whatsoever. So what killed them? That's the question. And 70 years later, we still don't have a definitive answer. This is the story of the SS Ourang Medan, the ghost ship, and trust me, this is going to get strange. Let me set the scene for you. We need to talk about where all this happened, the Strait of Malacca. Now, you might be thinking, I've never heard of that place. But believe me, it's one of the most important waterways on Earth. This narrow channel sits between the Malay Peninsula and the Indonesian island of Sumatra, and it's absolutely crucial for global trade. Every single day, about 260 ships pass through this strait. We're talking massive container ships, oil tankers, cargo vessels. All day, every day. These ships carry roughly 25% of all the world's traded goods. Let that sink in for a moment. 1/4 of everything that gets bought and sold internationally passes through this single waterway. It connects the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. It links the economies of China, Japan, India, and Southeast Asia. Without the Strait of Malacca, global commerce would grind to a halt. But here's the thing. For all its importance, the Strait of Malacca has a dark history, a very dark history. For centuries, this place was absolutely ruled by pirates. Not the romantic, Hollywood kind, the real, brutal kind. Ships passing through these waters were constantly under threat. Crews lived in fear. Many vessels simply vanished without a trace. Even today, even with modern naval patrols, piracy is still a problem here. But it's not just pirates that make this place dangerous. The geography itself is treacherous. At its narrowest point, the Phillips Channel, the strait is just 1.5 miles wide. That's it. For a massive container ship or oil tanker, that's an incredibly tight squeeze. One mistake, one miscalculation, and you're running aground or colliding with another vessel. And then there are the disappearances. Over the last 100 years, more than 30 ships have been lost in the Strait of Malacca. That works out to roughly one vessel every 3 or 4 years. Just gone. Some hit rocks. Some caught fire. Some were attacked. And some, well, nobody knows what happened to them. They just disappeared. The ocean swallowed them whole and never gave up their secrets. The SS Ourang Medan was about to become one of those secrets. June 1947. Multiple ships in the region start picking up a distress signal. It's coming through in Morse code. The universal language of maritime emergency. But this signal is different. This signal is terrifying. The message comes through in fragments. Broken, desperate, and it doesn't identify the ship right away. No name, no coordinates, just a voice crying out into the void. The first part of the message reads, "All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew dead." Imagine receiving that. You're sitting at your radio station, maybe drinking coffee, and suddenly these words come crackling through your headset. Your blood runs cold, because whoever sent this message is telling you that everyone around them is dead. Everyone. But it gets worse. A few minutes later, a final transmission comes through. Just 2 words. "I die." And then silence. Nothing. The signal goes dead. Whoever was sending that message is gone. Panic sets in immediately. Every maritime authority, in the region goes on high alert. British listening posts in Malaysia, Dutch stations in Indonesia, they're all trying to figure out where this signal came from. Because here's the problem. The message didn't include a position. Whoever sent it was probably too panicked, too frightened, or dying too quickly to provide coordinates. So the authorities have to triangulate the signal. They have to use multiple listening stations to pinpoint the source. It takes hours, precious hours. But finally, they get a fix on the location. And here's where it gets strange. The signal is coming from way out in the Indian Ocean, miles and miles from any established shipping lane. This vessel, whatever it is completely off course. It shouldn't be out there at all. Why would a merchant ship be so far from the normal routes? Was it lost? Was it hiding? Was it running from something? Nobody knows. But they need to find this ship. Fast. As luck would have it, there's an American merchant vessel relatively close to the coordinates, the Silver Star. She's a solid ship with an experienced crew. Her captain receives the urgent dispatch from the maritime authorities. They tell him about the distress signal, about the terrifying message, about the possible location. The captain doesn't hesitate. Not for a second. He knows that maritime law requires him to render assistance. But more than that, he knows that somewhere out there, people might still be alive, might still need help. He orders his crew to change course immediately. The Silver Star turns her bow toward the coordinates and increases speed. Every minute counts. The crew is tense. Everyone on board has heard about the message by now. All officers dead. Possibly whole crew dead. I'd die. What are they going to find when they get there? A ship under attack? A vessel sinking? A crew decimated by disease? Nobody knows. They can only push forward and hope they're not too late. After a few hours of anxious sailing, a lookout spots something on the horizon, a dark shape, a ship. As they get closer, the situation becomes clear. It's a merchant vessel, dead in the water. No smoke from the engines, no movement on deck. The ship is just drifting, powerless, lifeless. The Silver Star approaches cautiously. The captain orders his crew to try making contact. They broadcast on all radio frequencies. Nothing. They flash signal lights. No response. They sound the horn. Long, loud blasts that echo across the water. Still nothing. The ship just sits there, silent, like a corpse floating on the waves. They can see the name now, painted on the hull, SS Ourang Medan. Nobody on the Silver Star has heard of this vessel before, but that's not unusual. There are thousands of merchant ships operating around the world. You can't know them all. The captain makes a decision. They're going to board her. A rescue party is assembled. 6 men, strong, experienced sailors. They're equipped with life jackets, ropes, and basic medical supplies. They don't know what they're going to find over there, but they're prepared for anything, or so they think. The Silver Star maneuvers alongside the Ourang Medan, close enough to throw lines across, close enough to secure the 2 vessels together. The ships bump gently against each other, wood and steel creaking. The rescue party prepares to board, but as they stand there, looking across at the silent deck of the Ourang Medan, a feeling settles over them, a heavy, oppressive feeling. Something is very wrong on that ship. They can feel it, but they have a job to do. They climb across. The moment their boots hit the deck of the Ourang Medan, they know this isn't a rescue mission anymore. It's a recovery, because the bodies are everywhere. Men lying sprawled across the deck, some on their backs, some on their sides, some face down. The entire crew scattered like broken dolls. But it's not just that they're dead. It's how they look. Their eyes are wide open, staring at the sky, staring at nothing, frozen in expressions of pure, absolute terror. Their mouths are open too, gaping, as if they died screaming, as if they saw something so horrifying that their last moment on earth was one of complete horror. And their bodies. Oh God, their bodies. Their arms are reaching out, grasping at empty air. Their fingers are curved like claws. Their backs are arched. Their legs are bent at unnatural angles. It's like they died in the middle of a convulsion, in the middle of a desperate, futile struggle. One of the rescue team members finds the ship's dog. It's dead too, lying near the mast. Its teeth are bared in a vicious snarl. Its lips pull back. Even the dog died in terror. The rescue party pushes forward. They have to search the entire ship. They have to make sure there are no survivors. They climb up to the bridge. That's where they find the captain, slumped in his chair. His hands are still gripping the armrests. His face is frozen in the same expression of terror, his eyes staring straight ahead at the empty horizon. In the wheelhouse, they find 3 officers, all dead, all with the same horrified expressions, same contorted bodies. They go below deck to the chart room. 2 more officers, dead. One of them is still holding a pencil, like he was plotting their course when whatever happened, happened. The engine room, more bodies. The engineering crew died at their stations. Mid-shift, some of them are still holding tools. One man is frozen in the act of turning a valve, and then they find the radio operator. He's slumped over his equipment. His hand is still near the telegraph key. This was the man who sent the message. All officers dead. Possibly whole crew dead. I die. He was the last one. The last man alive on this ship. He must have watched everyone around him die. Must have seen their faces. Heard their screams. And then he sent that final message before whatever killed him took him too. The rescue party does a complete count. 23 men. The entire crew. All dead. Not a single survivor. But here's what makes absolutely no sense. There are no injuries. None. Not on a single body. One of the rescue team is a former medic. He examines several of the corpses. He's looking for anything. Gunshot wounds. Knife wounds. Signs of poisoning. Disease. Anything that could explain this mass death. Nothing. The bodies are unmarked. Apart from the terrifying expressions and contorted positions, they look almost healthy, like they should just wake up. The ship itself is equally puzzling. The rescue team searches for signs of what happened. Did they hit something? No. The hull is intact. Was there a fire? No. No smoke damage. No burn marks. An explosion? No. Everything is in its place. The cargo is secure. The equipment is functioning. Even the lifeboats are still lashed to their davits. Nobody even tried to abandon ship. So what killed these men? What caused an entire crew to die in apparent agony and terror without leaving a single mark? And then one of the rescue team notices something else. Something that shouldn't be possible. The bodies are decomposing. Already. Way too fast. Now, decomposition is a natural process, but it usually takes days before it becomes really noticeable. These men died just hours ago, based on the timing of the distress signal. But they're already starting to show signs of advanced decay. The skin is discoloring. The flesh is bloating. It's like time is moving faster on this ship. And there's more. Another crew member mentions the temperature. It's strange, he says. It feels cold. Now, keep in mind this is June in the Indian Ocean. It's a hot, tropical climate. The temperature outside is over 37 degrees Celsius. It's sweltering. The Silver Star crew is sweating through their shirts. But on the Ourang Medan, it's cold. Noticeably cold. Especially below deck. They take measurements. In some areas, the temperature is down to 4 degrees Celsius. That's barely above freezing. In the middle of a tropical ocean, in summer, there's no refrigeration system running. The engines are dead. There's no logical explanation for this cold. The captain of the Silver Star has a decision to make. This ship is a death trap. Whatever happened here, it's beyond anything he's ever seen. Every instinct is telling him to cut the lines and get as far away from this vessel as possible. But there's also maritime law to consider, and salvage rights. The Ourang Medan is a ghost ship now, abandoned. If he can tow her back to port, she becomes salvage. There's money in that, enough to make it worth the risk. And more importantly, there needs to be an investigation, a proper one. Scientists, authorities, they need to figure out what happened here. And that means getting this ship to port. He makes his decision. They'll tow her. The crew of the Silver Star is not happy about this. They've seen what's on that ship. They've felt the wrongness of it. But orders are orders. They get to work. Tow lines are secured. Strong steel cables connecting the Silver Star to the bow of the Ourang Medan. The Silver Star's engines start up. Slowly, carefully, they begin to move. The Ourang Medan follows behind, docile as a lamb being led to slaughter. They make good progress for about an hour. The crew starts to relax. Maybe it's going to be okay. Maybe they'll get this ship to port without incident. And then somebody shouts, "Fire! Fire on the Ourang Medan!" Smoke is pouring from below deck on the ghost ship. Thick, black smoke billowing out from the cargo hold. Specifically, hold number 4. The crew of the Silver Star reacts instantly. Fire on a ship is one of the most dangerous things that can happen at sea. And a fire on a ship you're towing, that's a nightmare scenario. Because if that ship explodes and you're connected to it, you're going down too. Orders are shouted. Men scramble. They grab axes and start hacking at the tow lines. The steel cables are thick. It takes precious seconds to cut through them. The smoke is getting worse. It's not just smoke anymore. There are flames. Visible flames licking up from below deck. The fire is spreading fast. Too fast. Finally, the last cable is cut. The Ourang Medan drifts free. The Silver Star's captain orders full reverse. They need distance. Now, the Silver Star is backing away when it happens. The Ourang Medan explodes. It's not a small explosion. It's massive, catastrophic. The blast literally lifts the entire ship out of the water. For a moment, just a brief, impossible moment, the Ourang Medan is airborne, a flying ship, suspended by the force of the explosion. And then she comes down. The hull breaks. The structure collapses. Flames and smoke and debris everywhere. The ocean rushes in. The SS Ourang Medan sinks in less than a minute. She goes bow first, sliding into the depths. The stern lifts up, propellers spinning uselessly in the air. And then she's gone, swallowed by the Indian Ocean. The crew of the Silver Star watches in stunned silence. They were just on that ship, just an hour ago, if they'd still been aboard. If they delayed cutting the lines by even a few seconds. They were lucky, incredibly lucky. So what happened? What really happened to the SS Ourang Medan and her crew? That's the question that's haunted investigators for over 70 years. The story was officially reported by the United States Coast Guard in May 1952. That's important. This isn't just some sailor's campfire tale. This was documented by an official government organization. That gives it credibility. But credibility doesn't mean we have answers. Over the years, theories have piled up, some plausible, some absolutely wild. Let's start with the wild ones, because they're fun, if nothing else. Some people believe the Ourang Medan was caught up in a secret government experiment, something like the Philadelphia experiment, that alleged World War II project, where a ship was supposedly made invisible. What if the Ourang Medan was testing some kind of experimental technology, some kind of weapon or device that malfunctioned? That could explain the strange deaths, the cold, the rapid decomposition. Others lean toward the paranormal, a supernatural event. Maybe the ship sailed through some kind of dimensional rift. Maybe it encountered an entity, a demon, a ghost, something that killed the crew with fear alone, literally scared them to death. These theories are exciting, but they're not very scientific. So let's look at the more rational explanations. Here's where things get interesting. In 1954, a German researcher named Otto Mehl published an extensive study on the Ourang Medan case. He claimed to have verified his information with crew members from the Silver Star who were present during the incident. Mehl's research added some crucial details, including information about the ship's cargo. According to Mehl, the Ourang Medan was carrying potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. Now, if that's true, alarm bells should be ringing in your head, because those are incredibly dangerous substances. Potassium cyanide is used in mining and chemical manufacturing, but it's also deadly poisonous. And nitroglycerin? That's an explosive, an incredibly unstable explosive. No legitimate shipping company would transport those two substances together without extreme safety measures. It would be insane, illegal. No port authority would ever allow it. So why would the Ourang Medan be carrying them? One word: smuggling. The smuggling theory actually makes a lot of sense. It would explain why the ship isn't in any official maritime records, because it wasn't really the Ourang Medan at all. It was some other vessel that had been renamed at sea, a fake identity to hide its real purpose. It would explain why the ship was so far off the established shipping lanes. Smugglers avoid the main routes. They stay in international waters, away from patrols, away from customs officials. And it would explain the cargo. These chemicals, especially in the post-war period, were valuable. There was a black market for them. Military applications, industrial applications. A ship willing to transport them illegally could make serious money. So here's the theory. The Ourang Medan is sailing along with its illegal cargo, but something goes wrong. Seawater leaks into the hold, maybe through a crack, maybe through a poorly sealed hatch. The water makes contact with the potassium cyanide. That's bad, very bad, because when potassium cyanide mixes with water, especially salt water, it releases hydrogen cyanide gas. And hydrogen cyanide is lethal, extremely lethal. Just a few breaths can kill you. The gas spreads through the ship. The crew doesn't realize what's happening until it's too late. They breathe it in. They start to feel the effects. Confusion, dizziness, and then they collapse. They die within minutes. Later, the water reaches the nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin is notorious for being unstable. Contact with water, combined with heat and pressure, causes it to detonate. Boom! That's the explosion that destroyed the ship. It's a good theory. It fits a lot of the facts. But there's a problem. Actually, there are several problems. First, if the ship was full of hydrogen cyanide gas, why didn't the rescue team from the Silver Star die? They were on that ship for at least an hour. They went into enclosed spaces, below deck. They should have been exposed to lethal concentrations of the gas. But they were fine, not even mild symptoms. Second, cyanide poisoning doesn't usually cause the kind of deaths described on the Ourang Medan. Cyanide kills by preventing your cells from using oxygen. You essentially suffocate at the cellular level. It's quick, but victims usually just collapse. They don't contort into agonized positions. They don't die with expressions of terror. They typically look almost peaceful. So if it wasn't cyanide, what was it? This is where we get into the really dark stuff. Some researchers have proposed that the cargo wasn't potassium cyanide at all. It was something much worse. Tibun, a nerve agent, one of the deadliest chemical weapons ever created. Tibun was developed by Nazi Germany in the 1930s. During World War II, the Germans produced massive quantities of it. They also shared it with their Japanese allies. After the war ended in 1945, the Allies scrambled to secure these weapons. They didn't want them falling into the wrong hands, and they wanted to study them. The United States was particularly aggressive about this. Operation Paperclip brought German scientists to America. Other operations seized German and Japanese chemical weapon stockpiles. Now, here's where it gets murky. What if elements within the U.S. military acquired large quantities of Tibun from the Japanese stockpiles? And what if, to avoid leaving a paper trail, they hired a foreign crew and an unregistered ship to transport it? The Ourang Medan, a ghost ship, no records, no official existence. Perfect for a covert operation. The Tibun theory addresses all the problems with the cyanide theory. Here's how. First, Tibun has a low persistence level. That means it disperses quickly, especially in open air or when exposed to water. By the time the Silver Star arrived hours after the distress call, the Tibun would have degraded or dispersed completely. That's why the rescue team wasn't affected. Second, and this is crucial, Tibun kills in a very specific way. It's a nerve agent. It blocks the enzyme that tells your muscles to relax. So when your muscles contract, they stay contracted. You go into uncontrollable spasms, convulsions. Your entire body locks up in agonizing cramps. And that fits perfectly with what was found on the Ourang Medan. Bodies frozen in contorted positions, arms reaching out, backs arched, faces twisted in pain and terror. That's exactly what tabun poisoning looks like. The rapid decomposition could be explained by the chemical effects on the body's tissues. The cold might be related to the nerve agent interfering with the body's ability to regulate temperature. Or it could be a separate environmental factor. We don't know for sure. And the explosion? If the cargo hold also contained other military chemicals or explosives, seawater infiltration could have triggered a reaction. So, is that what happened? Was the Ourang Medan carrying nerve agents for a covert U.S. military operation? Maybe. It's possible. It fits the evidence better than any other theory. But here's the thing. We may never know for sure. The ship is gone. Sunk to the bottom of the Indian Ocean 75 years ago. The crew is dead. The witnesses from the Silver Star are almost certainly all gone by now too. And if there were classified documents about this incident, they're buried deep in some government archive, or they've been destroyed. The Ourang Medan is more than just a maritime mystery. It's a window into the shadowy world of post-war military operations, the black markets, the secret deals, the things governments do that never make it into the history books. Was it smuggling, a government operation, an accident, or something else entirely? Something we haven't even thought of? The bottom line is this. 75 years have passed since that June day in 1947. The urgency to investigate has long since faded. The trail is cold. The evidence is at the bottom of the ocean. Nobody is actively searching for the wreck of the Ourang Medan. It's too deep, too remote, and frankly, there are bigger mysteries to solve. But every now and then, someone discovers a story. A researcher, a journalist, an enthusiast of maritime mysteries, and they go down the rabbit hole. They read the reports, study the theories, try to piece together what really happened, and they come away with more questions than answers, because that's what the Ourang Medan is. A question mark, a puzzle with missing pieces, a story that refuses to have an ending. What really killed those 23 men? Why did they die in such terror? What was the ship really carrying? Who was behind it? And why has the truth been so thoroughly buried? We don't know. Maybe we never will. The SS Ourang Medan is gone. Lost to the depths. Lost to time. Lost to history. All that remains is the story. The legend. The ghost ship that sailed into mystery and never came back. And sometimes on quiet nights, when sailors pass through the Strait of Malacca, they think about that ship, about those men, about the terror in their eyes. And they wonder, what if it happens again? What if there's another ship out there right now, drifting silently on waves? Another crew frozen in death? Another mystery waiting to be discovered? The ocean is vast, deep, and it keeps its secrets well. The Ourang Medan is proof of that. She was real. Her crew was real. Their deaths were real. But the truth might stay buried forever. And that, more than anything, is what makes this story so haunting. Not knowing, never knowing, just endless questions echoing into the void. Final pause, the SS Ourang Medan, the ghost ship, a maritime mystery for the ages, and a reminder that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that might actually be true.